All right, peace, family. Happy Sabbath and happy Feast of Trumpets if you are celebrating today like I am. I wanted to come and do this quick video to show you guys how I know that the Most High's name is Yahawah. All right, I'm gonna try to make it as quick as possible because I did put together some previous research on it. And let me see if I can kind of show you guys the research to help you understand how I know his name is Yahawah. All right, bear with me. If it takes a little longer than I wanted to. Let's see here. Okay, let's just go right in here. All right. So I want to show you guys a couple things. First, I'll show you this. It says the first major, this is from ancienthebrew.org. Okay, this is a well-known writer uh, who goes against the grain, with his research. Okay, the institutions don't like him because he draws his own conclusions instead of just following their conclusions. All right, but he has many uh, uh, I guess fans, for lack of a better word, and many supporters, all right, who see his research as valid. So it says here the first major discovery connecting the Phoenician alphabet and language with Hebrew occurred on January 19th, 1855, when Turkish laborers accidentally uncovered an ancient sarcophagus in Sidon, a Phoenician city. On this sarcophagus was a lengthy inscription written in the Phoenician alphabet and language, which was found to be identical to Hebrew with only a few exceptions. So I highlight this to show you that the so-called Phoenician language is identical to Hebrew with only a few exceptions. All right. Scholars also say that Hebrew and Phoenician came from a Proto-Semitic language, so they came from the same language. Now, through the Spirit, I believe that this Proto Semitic language, there is no Proto Semitic language, it was Hebrew, right? Because I believe that this is what everyone was speaking before the Most High mixed up the languages. Okay, so this so-called Proto-Semitic language was just pure Hebrew, which is why the Phoenician language, which is from Hamites, and the Hebrew language, which is from Shemites, um, would be very, very similar because we came from the same father, which was uh, Noah had Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay, after the flood, three sons split, right, and went their separate ways. So their religions and their languages would have been the same because they all are similar, rather, because they all learned it from their father Noah. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys that Phoenician and Hebrew is very, very similar. Okay, this highlighted part from JewishEncyclopedia.com says, all that can be said is that by the testimony of El Amarna tablets, which contain Canaanitish, okay, Canaanitish also means Phoenician, okay, or Hebrew glosses. I'm going to show you guys that. Canaanitish or Hebrew glosses, and by the evidence of Egyptian, which contains Canaanitish loanwords borrowed some centuries before those tablets were written. Canaanitish or Hebrew was spoken in Palestine as early as the beginning of the second millennium BC. Okay, so this is basically telling you that according to these tablets, it shows that Hebrew was spoken in Palestine, which is Israel, right? as early as 2000 BC. You understand? So think about that. What is this Proto-Semitic language? You know, if you go by process of elimination, it's most likely Hebrew. All right. Now, what some of the features of uh, this? Let me show you real quick that Canaanitish language is referring to um, Phoenician. Okay, so I'll show you guys this quick. Phoenician is an extinct Canaanite Semitic language. You see that? Originally spoken in the region surrounding the cities of Tyre and Zidon. It's amazing how this just links up with the Bible. Extensive Tyro-Sidonian trade and commerce dominance led to Phoenician becoming a lingua franca of the maritime Mediterranean during the Iron Age, and so on and so forth. Let's see here. In the language family, notice that Canaanite is above Phoenician, right? Which they're trying to say that is derived from that, um, which I have my doubts about. Let's see here. I'm trying to look for this particular part in here. Find Canaanitish. Canaanitish. Mm, where was it? Where was it? One second. Phoenician was written with the Phoenician script and Abjad, originating from the Proto-Canaanite alphabet. They keep throwing in these words: Proto-Canaanite, Proto-Semitic. Well, all these things, I believe, in the spirit and from my research, is referring to ancient Hebrew. Let's see. Here you have it. The Phoenician, Hebrew, and other Canaanite dialects were largely indistinguishable before what? 1050 BCE. And here's the reference for that. Okay. All right. So, I mean, that should be good enough. That should be good enough to show you guys what I really go on. All right. Let me just have a quick look, okay? Because I'm a bit anal about stuff. Canaanitish. Dialects have been labeled primarily with references to biblical geography, Phoenician. Jeez. Sorry about that. Sorry. Bear with me, okay? Bear with me. Phoenician alphabet is the oldest verified consonantal alphabet. Phoenician alphabet, known in modern times from the Canaanite and Aramaic inscriptions found across the Mediterranean. The name comes from the Phoenician civilization. That's not what I wanted. I literally had a Phoenician alphabet is also called the early linear script in Semitic context, not connected to the Minoan writing systems because it is an early development of the Proto or Old Canaanite or Proto-Semitic script into linear, purely alphabetical script. That's what I wanted. All right, and there's your reference. All right, all right. Thank you for your patience. Going back here real quick. There is such a thing called the Canaanite shift, all right, that explains how Shalom became Shalom and Shalom. We were not using these letters in Proto Hebrew or original Hebrew or Proto Canaanitish, like they want to call it. Really, I believe it's Hebrew, okay? Um, we were not using these U's and O's. All right, and here's the evidence right here. Actually, I'll pull it up right on the page so we can get the references right away. Is it? Let's see if I can find it here. Ulom, Alam, maybe I can get it by. How is that not here? Phoenician. Oh, let's go back. Phoenician language. All right. Alam. All right. So let's see here. Here's the reference. Surrogate 1997, page 175. Okay. And it says here, let's see. This is about a change in the language called the Canaanite shift. Okay. I'll start up here. Right. It says, well, I'll start here. It says the Proto-Semitic diphthongs I and ow are realized as uh, E and O, if I've pronounced that correctly. That must have happened earlier than in Biblical Hebrew, since the resulting long vowels are not marked with the semi-vowel letters. Bet house was written, listen to this, bet meaning house was written as Bayat and Tau, in contrast to Biblical Hebrew. Now, what is Biblical Hebrew? Let me show you guys. Biblical Hebrew is Hebrew that was invented uh, by the heathens, right? Edomites created it, right? Let me show you, right? They took Old Hebrew and added a bunch of words and added and put in vowel signs to mark and sorry, and use some of our consonants as vowel signs. Yeah, here it is in this book, which is called "How the Hebrew Language Grew." It says the Hebrew vowel signs we now use were invented quite late and first came into use in the 7th century of the Common Era. So that's in the year 700, these Hebrew vowel signs began to be used. Okay. Um, Let me read some important stuff here from that same book, How the Hebrew Language Grew. Hebrew gradually ceased being, I'm reading the underlined parts, okay, and the highlighted parts. Hebrew gradually ceased to be a spoken language after 70 CE. It says it was about 80 years ago that a young man was inspired with a vision that Hebrew could once again live as a spoken language. His name was Eliezer ben Yehuda. He went to work and write in Israel, okay? It says one of the greatest problems that Eliezer ben Yehuda faced was the lack of words in Hebrew that were needed to describe all the complex culture of modern life with its machinery, electricity, airplanes, radios, etc. He single-handedly, so by himself, this Edomite wrote a great dictionary of the Hebrew language, recently brought to an editorial completion in 17 volumes. Okay, a work generally undertaken by a large group of scholars. So usually a large group of scholars does this. Okay, this guy did it himself. He also formed the Va'ad Ha-Lashon. Okay, now called, the Hebrew Academy. All right, and it says, who have set for themselves the task of creating the thousands and ten of thousands the thousands and ten of thousands of needed new words. Okay, so these guys created new words within Hebrew themselves, him and this conglomerate. All right, and you could tell, um, if you are learned from the way that he is writing the Hebrew, that they're Europeans. Because look at, I believe it's Russians. They can't say W. That's why they use V. When they say Y, they say Vi. It's just a part of their language. So wherever the W was, they have V's in the modern Hebrew. It's because these are the people that created modern Hebrew. You understand? These are one of the clues, right? And it says here, when they created new words, they fashioned them with great skill and cunning out of old Hebrew three-letter roots. This is really important. They made it out of old Hebrew three-letter roots. Let's go back to the article. The article says Bet House, right here. Bet House was written as by um, what's that? What's that letter? Anyway, I don't remember the name of the letter. Um, Alap Bayat Tau. Okay. Uh, Bet was written Bayat Tau, or just BT. In contrast to biblical Hebrew, whenever you see biblical Hebrew, that's the Hebrew that the Edomites created. All right. So we used to spell it Bayat Tau. They spell it Bayat. Um, um, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name of my Hebrew letters. Bayat. What is the name of that letter? Oh my word. Anyway, well, let me go here. 1 second. 1 second, you guys. Bear with me. Unacceptable. 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 Yad. Bayat Yad. So they spell it Bayat Yad um, Tau. Tau. Right? When we just spelled it Bayat Tau. You see? They added the vowel letters. The Greeks did the same thing. The whole Greek language is created from the Hebrew language. They just switched our letters around. They turned the ha in Yahawah to an E sound because they didn't have the ha sound. They had the E sound, so they just flipped it and used it as an E. That's also in the book How the Hebrew Language Grew. Okay, but my point is this: they created it from the three-letter roots. It said, all right. Sometimes they also created it from the two-letter roots, and that's also in the book How the Hebrew Language Grew. All right. Let me read on. It says the most conspicuous vocalic development in Phoenician is the so-called Canaanite shift. Now, shared by what? Biblical Hebrew, but going further in Phoenician. All right. So the language changed. All right. Right. So this Phoenician, okay, or Paleo Hebrew, right? Because remember, the scholar said there's very few differences between the languages, and we also read that they were basically the same language before 1050, right, BC. So it says the Proto Northwest Semitic uh, A and Ow, A and Ow. Um, Forgive me if I pronounce the A incorrectly. Became not merely O as in Tiberian Hebrew, but Oo. Take that in. During the Canaanite shift, the Proto Northwest Semitic A and Ow became not merely O as in Shalom, but U as in Shalom. So it wasn't that. It was Shalom. And this article is going to prove it as I keep reading. Stressed Proto Semitic A became Tiberian. What is that? O? I'm not sure. In other traditions, but Phoenician O. Here we go. Phoenician O. I don't know what those other signs mean. You have to kind of study phonetics a bit to understand, you know, how to pronounce uh, those signs. All right, and I did that. That's how I know the long A sound, the long O sound, these kinds of things. The shift is proved uh, by Latin and Greek transcriptions like Rus for head cape, all right? Tiberian Hebrew Rosh. Take that in, or Rosh. Similarly, notice stressed O corresponding to Tiberian A. Samo, yeah, for he heard. Tiberian Hebrew Shama, okay? Shama, similarly, the word for eternity is known from Greek transcriptions to have been ulom. The word for eternity known from Greek transcriptions to have been ulom, corresponding to biblical Hebrew, meaning Edomite Hebrew, olam, okay, and Proto-Semitic or ancient Hebrew or ancient Phoenician, alam. So the word, the oldest version of this word is alam. All right. This is why when it comes to the Most High's name, I do not use the modern Hebrew. If you use the modern Hebrew, nothing's wrong with that because we know from the book of Acts they were talking to our brothers and sisters in all kinds of languages, right? But if you want to use his ancient name, it's not Yahuwah, it's Yahawah. All right? Hopefully that was clear for you, brothers and sisters. And let me know if you have any questions. All right. I hope this was clear, and I'm sorry it was long, but I wanted to, show this to you thoroughly and have you get a good understanding. And I was trying not to make it so long. So happy Sabbath, and if you found the video helpful and you're watching this on YouTube, please give it a like. Um, and subscribe to the channel to help me keep spreading the truth of this gospel and the truth of our history. Okay, I love you guys with all my heart, soul, and mind. And I'm so happy, you know, to interact with other Hebrews that the Most High has woken up. Stay strong, endure, and remember, love for one another is the fulfillment of the commandments. Romans 13:10. Love you guys. Shalom or shalom if it's a bunch of y'all.